Hi guys! So today I'm going to be talking about my bookish pet peeves. I have compiled a list of 10 things that either in books or in the covers of books and publication processes that annoy me and that kind of make me mad. And you know, usually I'm very positive in my videos and I like to talk about positive things, but today we're going to be getting a little bit negative with my pet peeves. So I'm just going to get started and yeah. My first bookish pet peeve is unmatching covers. Now, this makes me heated. I hate when I'm in the midst of a series and all of a sudden, let's just change the covers. Let's change the covers completely. Or I'm in the middle of a series and it's like, you know what, we've got paperbacks. Let's just start selling them in only hardcover. Let's just do that. You know, that seems like a good idea. No. It's not a good idea. It's not a good idea at all. It's also super annoying with the covers when an author has all of their books that match, and even though they're not particularly in a series with each other, they all just kind of match. They're all like paperback, let's say, and they all kind of have a similar font and they all just look nice together. And then all of a sudden they redesign all of them. For me, I'm talking about Sarah Dessen. I have about 7 of Sarah Dessen's books about, and recently she changed the design of all of her books, and it's really hard to find the old cover designs. And now she's making hardcover books and none of them match anymore, and I'm just done with Sarah Dessen because I can't. I don't want to buy books that don't match. So yes, that's really annoying. Another one was the Anne and the French Kiss one, even though, like, God bless that they changed it, but Isla was only available in hardback when you had to pre-order it. So now I have 2 paperbacks and a hardback, but they have matching covers. So I don't know if that annoys you guys, but it really annoys me. My next bookish pet peeve is love triangles without a purpose. Love triangles are okay when it's fitting for the story and it really makes sense. But what I hate is when there's a love triangle and you're like, yeah, she's gonna be with this guy, and then there's like kind of this other guy and you're like, ooh, but there's this guy, but like she's gonna be with this guy, and then she's still with this guy that you knew she was gonna be with the whole story, and there's really no point of that other kid being there. It's so irrelevant. It's so stupid. It makes me mad. One love triangle that I think was done pretty well is The Summer I Turned Pretty love triangle. I didn't mind that one at all. I thought it was pretty fitting for the series, so I did like that one, but there's just been some out there that just have drove me crazy and they're so unnecessary. My next bookish pet peeve is an unnecessary companion novel that is told in somebody else's point of view. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, say, Hopeless by Colleen Hoover and then Losing Hope by Colleen Hoover. It's the same book but done in 2 people's perspectives. And now with Colleen Hoover, I'm okay with. I think Colleen Hoover is the only author I've read that does this phenomenally, and she does it by adding pieces of information that you didn't know before and just making it a smooth second book and not making it like the same exact book. So I think Colleen Hoover does it amazing. She's done it with Slam, she's done it with Hopeless, and I've loved it every single time. An example where I found it unnecessary is the book Easy by Tamara Weber. There's a second book called Breakable told in the guy's point of view, and yes, there is new information, but I was really bored with that book. I didn't find it interesting at all and I didn't really like it, so I thought that was done pretty bad. And I think in other situations, I've read other books that do it and it's just never done as well as Colleen Hoover in my opinion, but it just, I feel like it's unnecessary for the most part to have it. Like, I don't know. My next bookish pet peeve is character names that are not names, or character names that are literally names that are so hard to pronounce, or character names that literally everybody is like, how do you say that? And nobody knows how to say it until the author comes out and tells you what the character name is. And I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but we've all been there where you're reading a book and all of a sudden this secondary character is introduced and you're like, how do I say that? I have no idea how to say that. It annoys me because I'll be reading and I'm like talking in my head when you read, you know, that's how you read, and I'm like, I have to make up some way of how to say it in my head, and I'm like, oh, it's like this. And then later I'll actually find out how you say it and it's nothing like how I've been imagining is how you say it, and then I'm just like annoyed. So it's really frustrating when character names aren't like, you know, sometimes they'll be like, this is his name and it's said like this. Like, that's good. That helps all of us, but sometimes that doesn't happen and all of us are mad, and I don't like being mad. You know, it's better to just have, you know, names that we can pronounce, or you should tell us how to pronounce it. You know, it's just better for everybody. My next 2 bookish pet peeves kind of go hand in hand, and that is dog-earing pages and broken spines. Now, as somebody that buys a lot of books, I feel very strongly about this because I want to preserve my books for as long as possible. So I try to keep them in good condition now so that in 20 years they'll still be in a good condition. Now, I have a friend who feels very differently about this subject and thinks that, you know, if you break in a book and bend the spine and, you know, dog-ear the pages and make it look kind of rustic, it just looks more loved and it looks more like a book. And if you just have all these nice books, it looks like you haven't read them. But, you know, how long is a book that you're dog-tearing the pages and and bending the spines of gonna last. Like, I'm trying to keep my books lasting for a really long time, and it looks nice to have all nice pretty books on your shelves, and I have read them, and you know, I'm careful with them, and it's just my personal preference. But I understand the whole like thing where it's like they look more loved, but in 20 years they're gonna look loved. Like, I don't get it. So yeah, I don't like the spines being broken. I don't like dog-earing pages. I hate when I rip a page by accident. Oh my god. Girl, I hate it. My next bookish pet peeve is insta love. Now, as somebody that reads a lot of contemporaries, I find insta love in a lot of books, and it usually always annoys me. What I'm talking about more particularly is, say there's a girl and she's had a crush on this guy for like her whole life and she's in love with him, and then they start hanging out finally and it's like their second date and she's like, I love you, and he's like, I've loved you my whole life, and it's like, stop, like literally stop. This isn't realistic. This isn't like, stop. It makes me so mad. Like, that's not realistic at all. Like, nobody would be like, I love you on like the first date. Like, no, you guys have honestly never talked, you've never hung out, you've never spoken to each other. So annoying, and like, nobody likes insta-love. It's honestly frustrating. I'm okay with, say, like, there's two characters and they just met and they've been hanging out all summer, and at the end of the summer they're like in love. That makes sense. It's realistic, I think, and it's possible. What I don't like is when there's two characters that have known each other their whole lives and then they decide to go on a date and then they're like, I'm in love with you and I've loved you my whole life. It's like, really? Are we really going there? Like, no, stop. My next bookish pet peeve is indecisive narrators. Now, if any of you guys have read the Selection series by Kira Cass, it's one of my favorite series, and our main character, America, is super indecisive, and this is like the one thing in the series that really annoys me. So there's kind of a love triangle in this book, but like kind of not. It's kind of one of those like stupid love triangles that shouldn't be happening. And the whole book she's like, oh, I love this one, and then she's like, but wait, my life with this one could be so great, but wait, this one, and she's just dragging both of them and stringing them along like the whole series, and it's like, make up your mind. Like, stop. Like, it's so unnecessary to be dragging both of them, like, ugh. Or like if there's a character that just has to make a decision about something and their decision literally isn't made till the end of the book, it annoys me to have like some little problem be dragged out throughout the whole book. It's so frustrating and unnecessary and just needs to go. My last bookish pet peeve I'm going to be sharing with you guys today is actually one that I saw in another video. I forget whose video it was, but if I can find it, I'll have it linked below. But she said this and I thought it was so funny and so true. And it's basically when at the end of a book, and this usually happens in young adult books, but it's like the ending of a book and it ends with like something along the lines of, it had been a long journey but it was far from over, or like, this is not the end but only the beginning, and it's like, stop. And it just annoys me, which I guess all of these are things that kind of annoy me, but yeah, that thing, it's really weird. I don't know, it just feels like an insufficient conclusion to me, and it's like, it's not the end but the beginning. And it's like, okay, so when's the end? Like, are you gonna keep talking? Like, what's going on? Like, why'd you end the book like that if it's not the end? Like, stop. Okay guys, so those are all of my bookish pet peeves. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like it and subscribe if you have not already, and also comment down below some of your bookish pet peeves. I would be very interested to know if we share. Yes, I hope you guys all have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!
Where are you? And I'm so sorry. I cannot sleep, I cannot dream tonight. I need somebody